Hello everyone, today we'll make a project. It will be a to-do list. So in our day-to-day lives we have a lot of tasks that need to be completed on a particular day, but we tend to forget them. So for that, we'll make the to-do list. This can be used in your day-to-day life as well to keep a track of how many tasks you have and which tasks have been completed till now. The technologies we'll use for this particular project are HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let us see how the final project is going to look like. So here in the center we have an input field to input our daily tasks. Let us try to add a few tasks for today. Read a book. Let's add another task. Edit a video. Let's add one more task. Watch a movie. So let's say we have these three tasks for today. In case we complete a task, we can simply click this tick icon and the task will be marked as completed. In case we have added a task that is not allocated for today, we can simply press this trash can icon and it will disappear. So let's get started with the code. We will firstly use HTML to bring in the elements that we need for this project. So firstly, let us design the basic structure of our HTML file. Every HTML file will have a head and a body. Let's give it a head and a body. Let us save it and see how our project looks right now. So you can see it's a completely empty screen. We haven't added anything onto the screen as of now. Let us give the project a suitable title. Let us give it the title to-do list. Let's save it. Let's refresh. So you can see in the tabs above, the title of the project has been changed to to-do list. So moving forward, let us create a div in the body. Let's give it a class name container. We have named it container as it will contain all the elements that we need for the current project. So the first thing we need is a heading. So we'll use the h1 tag for that. Let's give the heading today's tasks. Let's save it. Let us see how our project looks. So you can see the heading has appeared on the screen. The next element we require is an input field where the user will eventually enter the tasks that she needs to complete within the day. Let's add an input field to it. With the type attribute, we will describe what kind of input we are expecting in the input field. I have set it to text, which means the user can enter alphabets, numbers, and any special character the user may like. Let's give it an ID, input. We'll use this ID later when we have to implement the functionalities. Let's use the placeholder attribute. Enter a new task. Through this placeholder field, we give a default value inside this input field. It is basically a recommendation as to what the user needs to enter in the input field. So let us save it and see how our project looks now. Let's refresh it and you can see the input field is now visible. Under the input field, we need a list. We will choose an unordered list. There are two types of list in HTML, ordered list and unordered list. For this particular project, we'll stick to unordered lists. This list will be empty initially as we do not know what kind of task the user will input into it. It should only reflect the task that the user has entered. So initially it will be empty. we'll implement a functionality where the user can enter the task into the input field, press enter, and that task will appear inside the list. We'll do that later. So let's save it. Once again, we'll refresh the page and see how our project looks. So you can see nothing new has come on the page because the list was empty. Let us move forward. To implement the required functionalities, we'll use a library of JavaScript called as jQuery. How can we use jQuery in our project? Let us see. So the first step is downloading jQuery. So go to Google, type jQuery.min.js download. Go to the cdnpkg.com. Here you can see multiple versions of jQuery. The latest one right now is 3.5.1, but here you can see many older versions as well. You can add any one of those you like. So there are two methods to add jQuery to the project. The first one is we can copy this line from here and add it inside the head section of our HTML file. The second method, we have to download jQuery and give its path in the project. So for this one, we'll download it. Now we will import the jQuery library into our project. So we'll use the script tag for that. Here we will give the relative path to the jQuery file. As we can see here, jQuery.min and index.html are placed in the same folder. So the relative paths will be simply jQuery.min.js. Next, we'll give the character set, it is UTF-8, and we'll close the script tag. Now jQuery has been imported into the project. Let us make use of it and implement the functionalities that are required. To implement the functionalities, we'll use another script tag. Script type equal to text slash JavaScript. So firstly, we'll use the property document.ready. So what does this do? The function we define inside this document.ready will only come into effect after the entire document has been received by the user's browser. It is unsafe to implement functions that run before the document is completely ready. So let's implement the function. So we'll use input ID to select the object input. We'll create a variable named input and give it the value that the user has entered into this field. After we have captured the value entered by the user, we need to enter it into the list. Let's do that now. We'll use the tag name to select the list. As we have just one list in the entire project, we'll simply use the tag name to select the list. We'll append a list item to it. For that, we'll use the li tag. So here we are closing the li tag. And we are done. Let us save it and see what we have created till now. Let's refresh the project. Let us try to add a new task now. Let's say we have a task reader book. So you can see that task has been added to the list. Let's add another task. Watch a movie, and that task has also been added to the list. So like this, user can add as many tasks as he or she wishes. Moving forward, now we will move on to styling the elements that we have on the screen. For that, we have created a CSS folder, and inside that we have created a master.css file. So from here you can see it is completely empty right now. Let us start styling our objects. We will start with the common properties that we want to give to each and every element in our HTML file. How do we do that? We use the star selector for that. So we'll give a margin, let's say 0, padding of 0, box sizing, we'll make a border box so that it looks pretty. Letter spacing 1 pixel, font family Verdana, text transform to capitalize. This will capitalize first letter of each word. Let's save it. Now we have to import this file into the HTML file. How do we do that? Let's see. So for this, we will use the link tag. Link rel equal to style sheet href equal to, here we will give a relative addressing. So we'll go into the CSS folder and select the master.css file, and we are done. The HTML file and the CSS file have been connected. Let us save it and see how our project looks now. Let's refresh this. So you can see some styling has been applied to the page. Moving forward, let us style it further. Let us style the body tag now. We'll give it a minimum height of 100 VH. So no matter how much you try to scale down the window, the body will have a minimum size of 100 VH. It won't become smaller than that. Display, flex, align items, center. This will center align all the items inside the body tag. Justify content, center. We'll give it a background image. For that, we'll use the property background image. So we'll give the URL. So here in the folder, we have created an images folder and kept a background image inside it. So here also we'll give a relative path. So this is the CSS file. It is inside the CSS folder. So to come out of that folder, we'll give 2 dots. Now we'll choose the images folder, and inside this folder we'll use the background.jpg image. Let's save it and see how our project looks now. Let's refresh it. So you can see that the background image has been added and all the content has been center aligned. Let us now style the container class. Dot container. Let's give it a height of 450 pixels. You can choose any value for any of these attributes. These values are just what I find were looking good on the screen. So web development is all about experimenting. Keep using different colors, different fonts, different margins, etc. so that you know what looks best. Let's give it a width of, let's say, 330 pixels. Let's give it a background color, light cyan. Let's give it a border radius. So when you give a border radius, the corners become circular. Let's give it a border radius of 5 pixels. Box shadow 0, 5 pixels, 10 pixel. So what does box shadow do? It gives a shadow to the box, and the values we have given in the RGBA, that basically gives the color of the shadow. The first 3 values are the RGB values, and the last value is the opacity value of the shadow. Let's give it a padding of 10 pixels. So when we give just one value in the padding attribute, it means that we are giving a top, bottom, left and right padding of 10 pixels. Overflow. Why? Auto. So what does overflow mean? If the screen is so small that the content is going outside the visible screen, so what is automatically set by that particular browser should happen. Let's save it. Let us look at the web page. We can now see in the project that the container element has been styled. Now let us add a task, edit a video. Okay. So the functionalities are working. Now we will use 2 icons from the Font Awesome family. There are a lot of icons in the Font Awesome family. You can use them for a variety of purposes for any of your projects. How do we add the Font Awesome library to our project? Let us see. Go to Google, search for Font Awesome, download CDN. Scroll down and go to cdnpkg.com. So here as well we have 2 options. Either we can download the package or include this line in the head section of our HTML file. So for jQuery we downloaded the package. For Font Awesome, let us try the other method. We'll include this line, we'll copy it from here, we'll go to our code and paste it in our head section and save it. And just like that, we have included the Font Awesome library to our project. Let us now use this. So we want to add a tick and a trash can in front of every task. So let's do that. This will add the check icon in front of every task. We are using FA-check icon. Let's save it. Let us go back to our project. Let's refresh it. Let us enter a task here, edit a video, and you can see a check icon has appeared in front of the task. Next, we'll add a trash can icon in front of every task. So for that, we'll use the FA-trash can icon. We'll save it. Let us again refresh our project. Let us add a task. Watch a movie. You can see the check icon and the trash can icon both have appeared in front of the task. Now let us give them the desired functionalities. We will now add the desired functionality to the 2 icons. Firstly, let us implement the functionality for the trash can icon. We will implement an on-click function. On the trash can icon. So when the user clicks on the trash can, what do we want? We want that task to disappear from the screen. So we'll use the fade out property here. This dot parent li. So the parent list item object will disappear when the trash can is clicked by the user. Dot fade out in 200 milliseconds or 2 seconds. So the animation will take 2 seconds to take effect. Let us save it. Let us go back to our project. Let us refresh it. Let us now add a task, edit a video. Let us click the trash can icon and we can see that the task has disappeared. So the functionality is working. Let us now implement the functionality we require for the check symbol. We'll copy this function. Now we are implementing for the check icon. So here we just want that particular list item to change its class. Then we will style the class accordingly. So here we'll go for the toggle class function. We want the class to be changed to checked. And that's it. Now let us style the remaining elements. Firstly, let us style the input field. So to select ID, we use the hash symbol. Let's give it a height of 50 pixels. Let's make its width 100%. Let us not give it an outline. Let us remove its border. To make the corners rounded, we'll use a border radius property. Let's give it a background color. Again, these color can be changed to whatever you like. These are just some colors that I like. Let's give it a text color. Let's give it a padding. So I'm again repeating this. When we are giving two values in the padding attribute, the first value represents the top and the bottom padding. The second value is for left and the right padding. Let's give it a margin. Same goes for margin. The first value is for top and bottom margin. The second value is for left and right margin. Let's save this. Let us go back to our project. Let's refresh it. And you can see that the input field has been styled. Let us now style the placeholder. So in the input, we choose the placeholder. Let's give it a color. You can choose any color, just give the hex code for that color. Let us now style our list. Let's give it a list style none. List style none removes the points from the list items. Let's give it a background color. Now let's give it a height of, let's say, 40 pixels. A border radius of, say, 50 pixels. Let's give it a margin. Let's give it a padding. Let's make it position relative. Margin and padding are very important. Give a suitable value for these two, as each element should be visible individually to the end user. Let us now style the checked class. Let's give it a background color of light green, text decoration, line through, and transition time of 0.2 seconds. Let's save it. Let's go back to our project. Let us refresh it. Now we will add a task here. Let's say we have to read a book today. Now we will click the check icon. So you can see the functionality has been implemented successfully. Now we will style the two icons. FA check and FA trash. So with these commas we can select as many objects as we like, and the properties we give here will be applied to all the elements that we have selected. Let's give it an absolute position. Let's make the cursor as pointer. Let us now style the check icon individually. Let's give it a margin from the right side of 40 pixels and color green. We will now style the trash can icon. FA trash. Let's give it a margin from the right side of, let's say, 15 pixels and the color red. Let's save it. Let us see how our project looks now. Let's refresh it. Now let us add a task. Edit a video. Watch a movie. Revise a subject. In case we complete some of the tasks, let's say the first and second task are now complete, and the third task has been shifted to tomorrow. So we will delete it for now. All the functionalities have been successfully implemented and it is looking great. The project is now complete. We can again host it on Netlify, and with a simple URL we can share it with the world. To host your website on Netlify, go to netlify.com. If you haven't already created an account, you'll have to create an account. I already have an account, so I'll simply log in. To host your website, go to Sites tab. Click the upload button. Upload the folder where you have kept all the files. Click on upload. Now go to site settings. Change name. You can change the name to anything you like. It should just be available. So I'll change it to to-do list victory point and save it. Now you can scroll up, click on this link and visit your website. You can share this URL with anyone in the world, and that person will also be able to view your website. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.